Welcome to the last video on Yang data types. With this, we will complete an overview of how to define data nodes in the Yang data modeling language using the built-in and derived types. We will again have a short recap of the Yang data types and then move on to covering the remaining special data types available, namely the enumeration, the union type, and then the empty type. As we have seen over the past few videos, we classified the Yang data types into several categories and we have covered the first four. We will now move on to the special category types. An enumeration is nothing but a predefined list of choices to choose from. This is commonly used in many data models. As you can see, it is defined by the statement enum, which is mentioning the choice which can be specified. Here on the example on the right, you see the days of the week listed and a value associated with it. So when the value is chosen, the person setting the value will provide the string, namely Sunday, Monday, Tuesday and so on. But internally the system would be able to refer it using the number assigned to it. So the range allowed here is the integer range, integer 32 signed. So here when a value is not assigned, a value will be automatically assigned by the system under certain conditions. The first enumeration, if it does not have a value assigned, takes the value of 0. After that, the value chosen is 1 greater than the highest value assigned previously, meaning it is not always the previous value plus 1. If you recall the bits type which we covered earlier and the other bit level types, we saw a similar example. So normally it is preferred to assign a value explicitly to avoid guessing and increase the readability. And if the highest value is assigned to a particular enumeration, it is then mandatory to specify a value for all the subsequent statements, because the system cannot choose by the logic which says one higher than the highest previous value. It will go out of range, so it becomes mandatory to provide a value explicitly if the highest allowed value is already used explicitly. It is also possible to extend the enumeration and introduce some restrictions. The important rule to follow is the extending type cannot contradict the base type, like we have seen in many other types so far. The example you see here, you can define a working days leave based on the days of the week base type. You can use the same values, but you cannot change the assigned value which contradicts with the base type. The compilation will result in an error. A union is nothing but a data type which can contain the data nodes of different types. But at any point, the value of a union corresponds to only one of the types which it is holding. Say, take for example, a union is defined based on a protocol that is used. It can be, say, defined as a enum, or it is also possible to specify it using a port number. So what I have mentioned here is a union for leaf protocol, where the first type is unsigned int 32 and the second type is a enumeration defined called as protocol name. So the person setting the value of union, if he specifies an integer explicitly, the value that will be stored will be like a unsigned int 32. Whereas if a string is provided, it will be matched with the protocol name and the value contained will be on the enumeration type. So this means that You can use union in places where the same thing can be specified in different forms, but at any point knowing one form of representation is sufficient. The final type is called an empty type. You can also refer to the empty type as a presence indicator type, because this type by itself does not have any value. Just the mere presence or absence of it already conveys a meaning. So take for example, here I have defined a leaf called as CRC failure and classified it as a empty type. It means if this leaf is present, there has been a CRC failure, and if this leaf is not present, there has not been a CRC failure. This is extremely useful when you are developing applications on top of the data model, where instead of checking always for true or false, checking for a mere presence could be very useful. So with that, we conclude all the data types available in Yarn. Over the past videos, we covered every single type, how to extend them, how the restrictions can be applied on them, what are the allowed extensions and what are not. We saw examples using Pyang where we compiled and saw how possible errors are thrown. So now, having covered all the types, it is now time to move on to try something hands-on with this. So in the subsequent video, I will try to take some popular network packet structures and data forms and try to put them in a data model using the data types which we covered. So that way, in this data model, which is very close to networking, you will be able to understand how to apply the data types that we have learned so far. Looking forward to having you back. Thank you.